first time exploring Taman Tun, they will keep questioning me that how come the old houses in Taman Tun fetching this kind of price? The area doesn't give him a feeling of atas place, but why the price is like?
I hate that.
price is
Sometimes I get calls and then they see our signboard and then they say,
Hey, how much are this house? 1.2 million. Siao, crazy.
during MCR, I mean, I'm at the age where like my friends have not one, I got 2 or 3 kids and they're stuck in the condo. You can't use the facilities.
All cooped up.
And then you're cooped up, so they have no choice. They blow up the pool and put it in the living room. Now, and that's when we saw this spike.
And for the rundown houses, when they bought it, not many people can afford that, the high renovation cost. Even though they bought it at a cheap price for the semi-D, but you still have to fall out 1 million to renovate the house. So how many people can afford that? You have the 1 million cash to renovate it.
God has many who can afford.
Many clients who can afford renovated houses.
We're late to the party, but
Happy New Year!
welcome back to the Yin Homes podcast, where we talk about all things real estate and beyond. My name is Yin Peng.
I'm Gohao.
I'm Samuel.
I'm Kenneth.
Make sure you follow us, click like and subscribe on all our socials. We're on YouTube and Facebook at Yin Homes. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at yin.homes. And if you're looking for a place to buy, sell, or rent in TTDI area, head over to our website at yinhomes.my for more information.
And if you're watching or listening to this, we decided to do this podcast for many reasons. One of them is a way of sharing and communicating with our audience, be it clients, buyers, sellers, people who are interested in real estate. Topics, issues, tips, or even experiences about what's happening in the real estate sector. So, in today's episode, we'll be delving into our recent video covering the 2024 predictions for buying and selling in TTDI. If you haven't had the chance to watch it yet, we highly recommend checking it out first. You can find the link in the captions below. Once you have watched the video, come back and join us for this episode.
Since the release of that video, we've received numerous DMs and comments, questions from friends and clients urging us to go just a little bit deeper, elaborate a little bit more about what our predictions are for 2024 in the property market, specifically in TTDI. So today we're going to do just that, diving into the details and elaborating a little further on our thoughts regarding the predictions we've shared. Let's get to it.
So the first main topic that we are going to cover is the economy, which is the key factor that affects the value of the real estate. So Kenneth, what do you think about the economy on year 2024? Is it good or bad?
I'm really hopeful on the economy for 2024, but I have mixed views on this. On one side, you see that things are going along, everything is looking more stable. And on the other side, there is also some other issues that are affecting the general public. But let me just, there's some positive news. I saw yesterday in the newspaper that unemployment rate in Malaysia for November 2023 has dropped down to pre-pandemic levels. It's 3.3%. So these are good signs. So also nowadays, what we see is that as the world is more interconnected, right? Every country is more linked to each other. So factors at play for the economy, we have to see the stability of the government. We have to see consumers' disposable income, people's earnings, and also supply chain or any other external factors. And also, what if another pandemic comes along, right?
Yeah, that's
Everything
true.
will go back to normal. But
I think it's always at the back of everybody's mind.
correct.
Will it come back?
I'm cautiously optimistic. But of course, we as agents, we want the economy to be strong and
More sales.
more sales for us.
Yeah.
And so that's my view for 2024.
So in January, you think that in year 2024, the property price will be appreciated?
It depends a lot on the area, the location of the property. We see from data, we can see that properties in not so desirable locations or further off from the city center, right? Prices there are stagnant, or some of them even go lower. We can actually see that. But in prime areas, matured areas, prices are holding strong. You see some rise as well, especially if you look at landed properties. High rise, we see stagnancy, or because there's a lot of supply for high rise places, but for landed residential properties, right, demand is still strong in prime areas.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if we just reflect back in the last few months, I think there's not been any drop in prices. Maybe just a little bit slow down in terms of market sentiment, but people are still willing to pay top dollar to live in Taman Tun, right? I think
Yes, exactly.
the last few transactions that we've done, I would say that the prices are good and sometimes even shocking. So I do think that prices in prime areas like Taman Tun, Damansara Heights, Bangsa, Desa Park City, I mean desirable addresses, you will see stability. Of course, you will not see. I don't think the price will go up 20% by end of this year.
True.
I don't think we will see that sort of thing. Malaysia property market is a little bit different. So I think we will see stability and demand is expected to persist. We will still see demand. I mean, we don't see a drop in inquiries. We still have people interested.
Like the past transaction that we have, the houses that we have sold, we are quite shocked. Wow, we are able to
We were
press
able
that
to sell
price,
it,
right?
yeah.
Wow, good man.
I mean, we sold the shocking one for me was the single story that we sold. Nobody on the team thought we were gonna sell that house. So I thought, fine, okay. Because when we took the listing, there were not one dead cat, not two dead cats. There were 5 carcasses. We had to run the water only for a little while for the cleaners. We were so scared some pipe somewhere was gonna
burst.
Yeah, then when I told them the price, Kenneth, what did you say?
Yeah, we are like worried that, oh no,
Cannot sell
this house alone will be in the market for how long?
But you proved us wrong, Yin Peng.
I proved you wrong
And
because
yeah.
in 4 weeks or 6 weeks, was it 4 weeks or 6 weeks?
Yeah.
So we sold a very basic 22 feet by 80 feet single story for 1.2 million. I do think that demand for prime areas will continue to persist. Will it be 1.5 end of this year? I don't think so. I mean, we have to be realistic, but I think we'll continue to see stability. In fact, demand may continue to increase as market sentiment improves. I believe it will improve, especially when US announce lowering of OPR rates. I think that will create a more positive market sentiment. And when you have positive market sentiment, people will spend.
Yeah, people want to see they want to see stability and also certainty, home buyers.
Certainty,
Yeah.
yes. That's the key word, right?
Good to hear that. So that we are on the positive direction. So Samuel, since you are on the ground and also face so many tenants, what do you think about the economy at year 2024?
I have to agree with Kenneth and Yin Peng. I think in general, overall economic situation remains stable, but at the same time, from a rental agent perspective, I feel the spending power are still there. A tenant just looking for better quality homes, renovated, nice bathroom. The demand is, I would say, growing. People just compared to when we first started,
True.
MCO that time.
That was year
2021.
Yeah, that's when we started, right?
Yeah,
2021. Single story was going average 1,009.
2009 to then now
The highest is
22.
no. Now you're transacting at 3,000.
Now we're transacting at 3,000.
Plus minus, of course, depending on the curve.
Yeah, but definitely minimum is somewhere 2,425.
Even for the squatting toilet one.
Yeah.
Squatting toilet one, you rent out for how much?
But that one is a single story, right?
Single story, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, squatting toilet, which means it's still the mosaic tiles, is still like 2.5, right? 2.5, and you rented it within, I don't know, like 2 weeks.
Huh? Got weeks with no one.
Oh no! Oh, sorry, you meant
okay,
like days.
sorry.
sorry. Yeah, but I think owners I mean, I think if you renovated, the highest we've rented out 3-bedroom,
Three,
2 house
yeah,
is 3,000.
Mhm.
And I think like the people can pay, right?
People are more than happy to pay.
Who are these people? And why are
Mm,
they renting Taman Tun?
I think if your wallet allowed, I think everyone want to stay in Taman Tun lah. So good location, easy access, mainly easy access to avoid traffic nowadays. Last time not so jam, now after COVID everyone's coming out.
But wait, I mean, I think what you're saying is true, but also don't you think that surrounding Taman Tun now, there's a lot of those big name companies,
Yeah.
Corporates,
Corporates,
IBM,
KPMG, Deloitte. I mean even
LGB,
yeah.
Schlumberger.
Schlumberger,
Schlumberger.
right? So these are people working. I think you're getting a lot of profiles from these young
Yeah.
working
I
professionals.
mean
They're doing.
even PwC like KL Central also want to stay in Taman Tun. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Oh, okay. And they're willing to pay, right? Because I think they're doing well. They're either like
Not to
doing minimum, even minimum what, low 5 figures, right? So I think 3,000 is, as long as the place is nice, is comfortable.
landed, got your own space, then I think most importantly after whole day of work they just want somewhere comfortable.
A place to call home.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think in generally the rental and also the appreciation and also is still like slowly going up. But they were like not like a very big jump, like
Yep.
10%, 20% within a year.
Mhm.
Maybe it's like slowly it's like 2 to 5%.
Mm.
Yeah, so it doesn't like like last time when you buy a property, you no need to see lah. It's like just
No
You better
brainer,
buy.
hantam lah.
just
Which is why I think all in all, I think it's still a good year to buy.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's a good year to buy. But Samuel, if let's say I were to buy a basic house, single story, how much would I need to invest in number one, refurbishment, and number two, what would my expected rental yield be then?
I think rather than looking at your rental yield, probably something that most owner didn't really look into it is the tenant profile. I think tenant profile sometimes plays a very important role, even though sometimes you may get very high rental, but if the tenant doesn't really take care of your house
True.
after spending don't know 5 figure 6 figure of refurbishment and you get a tenant that will take care of your house, then when the tenant go out you have to pay one more time, do all over again. So but yeah, coming back to your questions, basic single story, well, in order to fetch somewhere 2.7 to 3, this
Which is the higher range?
higher range, definitely is somewhere I think 80 to 100.
1,000 to do a simple refurbishment?
Yeah, roof, bathroom, kitchens, fittings, new aircons. I think
It's good enough to
Yep.
fetch that kind of rental. But why are people? Why are people investing? You recently sold a single story for 1.3
1.31.
1.31.
Mhm.
What did you tell the buyer, and what advice did Samuel give you in terms of like the rental?
Yeah, before negotiating, I asked Samuel for tips.
You gotta check with the
Alright.
rental consultant first.
The buyer actually had very noble intentions. He bought the house actually for his elderly parents, but they are not at the age that they need to move in now. So in the meantime, he knows Taman Tun's rental demand is strong, and the house that he bought is actually in a really good condition already. The roofing, piping, wiring has been done. It's a value buy actually. All right. Also, the rental that he can fetch, based on the advice of my esteemed colleague here,
Aiyo.
he was really happy to hear the figure that we gave to him. All right. And also,
Which it brings the yield to how much then? If he buy at
all
1.31,
right, the yield isn't that great. You're looking at about below like FD rates of 3.8. You're looking at about 3%.
3%. Okay. Right,
But he's not bothered by that. He knows you cannot find any more single stories in Taman Tun and other areas also. Tamanton is his preferred area. Lah. He knows the value will hold. And even if his parents change his mind, right, he can easily exit the market. So it is a choice made by him actually. I didn't need to do much pushing. Yeah.
And also, I think it's a way of people trying to hedge against inflation, right?
Yes. Because right now investing on the capital gain and rental yield is quite challenging, especially nowadays. So I think it's more about to hedge against inflation, like what you say.
Yeah, rather than keep your money in the bank, you put it in bricks and mortar. It might just be a little bit more solid, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So moving on to the next thing, number 2, the next prediction that we covered is home search patterns. I think home search patterns have changed and will continue to change in year 2024. So in the last 10 years, there's been a major shift in the way buyers actually look for homes and search for homes. In the past, actually, there was a lot of reliance in the agent or just hearsay, asking people. But today, I think buyers have access to a lot of information, a lot of data, that by the time they come to the agent, actually, they are not asking for information anymore. And they will do all this homework before approaching the agent. And the agent's job is sort of to facilitate this home search. But what exactly is the role of the agent? We'll get into that. And my prediction for 2024 is that there will be a shift in home search pattern. And how can you tell me, based on your experience, where do majority of your buyers actually go when they start their home search?
I think most of the clients, when they search for a home, the first step they're going to do is to compare price. But in terms of compare price, how they're going to get all this of information? So there's the main one will be they are going to like iProperty, Property Guru, the search for the info when it comes to a home
Property
search.
portals.
Yeah, property portals.
They usually do that to get a benchmark of the prices, right? To compare.
So they will compare like, okay, if I spend this kind of price, what kind of condition I can get? If I search for the lowest price, what kind of house condition, location, renovation, so they can roughly know what's the reasonable price is.
Sort of part of their homework, right? Of
Yeah,
what they're doing, right?
So besides looking at portals, do you think you or How do you all think that the agent matter? Because on property portals, right, besides the listing, which is the price and also the pictures of the unit, there's also the agent. Do agents matter? What do you all think?
I think so. I think definitely the agents matter. As I said
me too.
before, the buyers are getting more and more sophisticated. So you will see, like, especially this year, after so many years, you will see the rise of, there's so much information out there. Basically, it's just what I'm trying to say, right? Past transaction data. And like you say, you go to the property portals, to search for the home is one thing.
Yep.
But it's also to compare price, to see what really is the condition of the house and what that area can afford you. And clients, actually, the agents, they do matter. It does matter because you're looking for a reliable agent, right?
And also, I realized that buyers recognize the advantage of engaging an area specialist in the home search usually.
I think so. I think definitely we are also seeing a rise in demand, right? I mean, I'm sure all of us have clients that say, hey, I have a house in this area. Got anybody like you or not?
Yeah.
So
And-
talk about the reliable agent. So what's the characteristic as a reliable agent should have? Like what kind of characteristics they should have?
First thing first, most importantly, I think is inventory. In agent terms, it's the number of listings we have. Right, like we want to buy something, we won't go to a small shop selling only 2 items. We will go to a big hypermart and we choose like what color, what quantity, what quality, made in where. So really area specialists, they have lots of listings, a lot of choices for you because they know that every different buyer are looking at different things. Okay. So secondly, very important, I think all of us here, right, we know every nook and cranny in Tamanton. It's very
Be better.
important. Yeah, be better. Because when you come to buy houses, right, you only see what is obvious, what's there, but you don't know what is what your eyes cannot see. That one you need someone very that knows the area so well. Like for instance, if the client wants to rent a house from Samuel, they don't only ask you, this house only got 3 rooms, 2 bathrooms. They will ask you many things, right, Samuel?
Yeah.
Like for instance, sometimes they ask you, the school, where's the nearest school? This house got anybody?
Yeah, got
any
snake,
history?
got cat.
Got snake, got cat, right? So all these things only area specialists will know lah.
Even where is leaking also Samuel will know. This Aminuddin Baki, always the leak is
at this location
at
here.
this location. Dr. Sulaiman is this location.
So we really have to be hands-on. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean we get that a lot, right?
Yeah,
I've
good
got
to
a lot
hear
of
that.
clients. A lot of clients come to me and say, "Why you only focus on this area?" A lot of agents also ask me, "Why do you do that?" I mean, you can earn a lot more if you go out to more areas.
Correct. You spread your net, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think people also quite surprised. Oh, you guys only cover TTDI.
Small
Wow.
little
Okay.
area.
Yeah. One
Yeah.
thing I see in Yin Peng and also the team, I think we place a lot of emphasis on the relationship with the seller, right? Because I think as buyers, right, you look at agents, you have to look at agents that have a good kind of connection with the seller, because it's really useful when it comes to negotiating, right? If I just know the seller one day and then I negotiate, right, it rarely works out.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
right?
it doesn't
It's
work
a
that way. You
relationship.
really need to know both parties in a transaction. Yeah, that's very important.
Yeah, good to hear. That. Also, even though as we are team working as a team and we are specialists in this area as well. So what's the failure rate like
Failure
to, that the client to with my,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. So actually, to define a local, so-called we are local area
Yeah.
specialists, right? Out of every 10 clients, how many have you lost to competitors? What is
yes,
your rate?
exactly.
I would say 2 to 3. 2 to 3. 2 to
Is
3.
it yesterday you didn't say 2 to 3 though? Why? You said lower, right? It was a lower number.
No,
2 to 3 is very high. In all honesty.
Two,
Two,
I think 2. Yeah, 2.
Samuel?
Ay.
0.
Very, very confident man. Very confident.
Very
young man.
confident.
Yeah.
Wow. I haven't like until like Samuel stage lah.
You
So
don't
I
want
think-
any, you don't want any.
So I think for my side, I think 1 out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah,
The,
I think about there as
One
well.
of 10,
Maybe slightly.
the clients will go
Yeah.
for another agent.
But of course, it doesn't count if they are going outside. Of,
yeah, it doesn't count that
yeah.
they are going to outside. To
So
that-
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I think so. So I think this shows that as we go in the real estate agents, as their role start to evolve, there'll be a demand for local area expert. But besides property portals and just the local area expert aspect to it, Samuel, like, why do you think that social media is becoming increasingly important? I mean, we spend so much time, so much money, so much effort, blood, sweat, and tears into it. Do you think it's important, and will it play or continue to play a significant role in terms of home search patterns?
Yeah, of course. Social media is so. Last time you exchange name card with clients owner. Now you give social media
I
lah.
haven't given out a name card in a long time.
So I mean, a lot of tenants and buyers or even sellers also know us through social media.
That is
and
true.
I think
Yeah.
for agent nowadays, having a social media is entry, a tool, a platform to have lah. Not just promoting yourself, not just promoting listing, but it's actually building that trust and confidence lah over social media, and to also let the tenants, buyer, seller to know that, hey, if I am actively doing this,
Yep.
I not play lah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very true. Because I realized that the most active agents are often checked on the property portals. So like they will check on the iProperty, all these property portals to see where they are at compared to others agent. So it become like a competitor analysis.
Mhm.
Agree.
And I think like it goes back to the point that people's behavior, consumer behavior has changed, right? Because we don't pick up the phone to call somebody until we have done our homework and due diligence on the person. So it feels like by the time we choose this agent, it's like I feel that I got to be comfortable and I like this person. And I think social media allows us to for our personality and who we are to come through, right?
Correct. I agree because how you see an agent is active is how often they appear on property portals, right? We also go that path, all right? We have 127 listings on iProperty to give
iProperty alone.
to let buyers and the homeowners we give exposure to the house. That's what we're supposed to do, all right? And the cost is not cheap, bruh. I think average about 80 to 100,000
At least just on iProperty alone.
just on iProperty alone.
So we are doing 100 over 1,000 just on portals for a small area like Tamadun because
A year?
yeah, you haven't seen the bills, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen the bill.
Because I'm the
I don't
one
wanna
paying
see
the
that.
bills.
And-
So
and-
it's almost 100,000 iProperty, and then Property Guru is easily 50,
Yeah.
60 minimum. I mean, this is average. It's not numbers that I feel we
Yeah.
need to hide, because if you ask any local area experts, I've spoken to agents who are local area experts. They spend around that, if not more, for larger areas. We're not the top spender for iProperty.
And these are classified ads,
It's just classified. It doesn't tell a story. It doesn't say anything. It's just photo, price,
Yeah.
detail.
How many bedroom, how many bathroom?
Yeah,
That's all.
you just give a brief description of the place. So why we open another avenue is through social media, through social platforms. The main aim is actually buyers want engagement from the property agents, right? We are not just there to, this is how much, that's how much. We go and open a door and we go and view and buy. It's not like that. People want engagement these days. People are different. They are more well informed, right?
Especially if you do prime area, because you need to have a reliable agent in order for you to trust that agent to do the negotiation for one of the most important and biggest assets that you want to buy, right? And why should clients trust you?
Because I think we are not all we don't all have the courthouse earnest face, right? Earnest
Honest face or
honest and earnest,
earnest face?
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
If you're wondering what is the honest face, go back to our episode 1. Okay. So moving to topic number 3, I would say, prediction number 3 is bearish investments. So Yin Peng, why are your failure rate is 1 to 2? Probably go to other areas.
1 to 2 in terms of clients dropping out or going to other agents.
Mhm.
Right. So now I think the main topic in terms of we are looking at bearish investments, right? I want to ask, we see why aren't people
Investing.
investing in TTDI as much like before, right? Like before.
Yeah, true. I think right now the times have changed, because last time the houses is more affordable compared like the salary. Yeah, it's more affordable for the people who buy the property. But right now the younger generation, especially like 20 to 30, it's hard for them to afford it. Yeah. Why you laugh?
Okay. Because Samuel's in the age group.
And I disagree. I disagree with what you say, because I don't think that they have been priced out. I think I think Samuel can easily afford something, maybe not single story landed, right? I think he can afford a condo like in Taman 700 over 1,000.
So look up to me.
Yeah.
But it's just that I don't think that that's his choice. It's just not. If 750,000, you will need. What is your monthly installment?
Monthly installment 750 estimated. If like Samuel's age, right, can borrow up to 35 years loan term, you're looking at about 2,500, 3,000. Yeah, 2,500 around there, right?
And that's how much he spends on sneakers, right?
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
That's why we're laughing.
you have to get your priorities right, SMO.
And then not only that, that's also then on top of that, you haven't included all the hot pot, all the good food that he eats.
I think young people these days choose lifestyle.
Every time I hang out with you, I also like got scared by the food bill. It's like, oh my god. Man.
And it's nothing to him, right? So Samuel, I think if
Got thing.
so it's 2,000 over. 2.5.
Close to 3,000.
Okay, and then you
Yeah.
need cash maybe about 100,000.
Yeah, for the down payment, the
Down
legal
payment,
fees.
legal
and-
fees.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you spend less on food, you spend less on sneakers,
Mm.
I think you could easily afford. So I don't think that it's that people are not investing as much. It's just that I feel that number one, maybe there are other things that people are looking for. Maybe is it? I don't know. What do people? What do the Gen? What Gen are you?
Gen
I,
Gen Y, I think.
Gen Y.
Yeah.
Not Gen Z, right? Gen Z is not
Yeah.
right.
probably home only ma. So I
because
think
Samuel tell me
my-
right. Samuel tell me one thing. He said right. I buy property already lah. If I buy already, every day only I get to eat Maggie mee. I don't want
Yeah
this
lah,
kind of
no
life.
life lah.
No life.
walao.
What's the point?
I read a news. There's especially in Japan. There's a lady who every day like spend on the daily food like 10 ringgit
Wow, in
per day,
Japan.
and then right now she own a few properties.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but I think it's very hard for the
Yeah,
people who do that way.
So I think like in terms of like bearish investments, I think what we're seeing is that number one, the younger folks like Samuel's generation I can't speak for you for your generation obviously, but it's safe to say that most of the time you would choose lifestyle over being a bit more prudent with your spending so that you can and putting it in property.
Yeah. So I think I also don't dare to speak for them, but I speak for myself. I think I will prioritize lifestyle a little bit more lah. I think Kok Hao is leaning towards okay, let's get my first property or second property.
But you see, so that okay, it's interesting that you brought Court House. So then the other thing why we're seeing bearish investments and people are not investing as much is that I think there are more investment options, right? So Court House, maybe you're the right person to say because because you're in your early 30s. You've been in real estate since day one. To be honest, I think you could easily afford one, two. You should be buying your second property, but it's by choice that you're not because there's so many other investment options out there today as well.
Yeah, I think right now there's a lot of like investment option for people, especially like you got Bitcoin, you got stock market, you got the new one. What is it called? On the graphic
NFT.
Yeah,
you got NFT.
You got NFT. Yeah, so I think right now not only property market, so there's so many options out there, and the return is way higher than the
Versus you buy a property in a prime area, your rental yield is 2 to 3%.
Yes, and for investment, especially stock market, like you can like 10% a month or even a few weeks. But of course, high risk, high return.
You would know.
Yeah.
Would you know?
Yes. Really?
We won't get into that. That's for another
we'll
day.
cover this topic next time.
Next episode. Stay tuned.
It's a hard-earned lesson.
Yeah, hard-earned lesson. Yeah, multiple times over. But let's not get into that. So maybe property is just not so sexy for the younger folks. Because maybe the returns it takes longer now. The return rental yield is slow. Capital appreciation is slow, and but it is a safe choice. Although I think it's slow down in investments, but occasionally we do get the investor client. They will buy one unit. In their investment portfolio, they will have many things. They will have like stocks and different sort of investment options. But property will be one of it to, like what we said earlier, is to hedge against inflation. It's for the long-term game. And for prime areas, I think it's not just investments, right?
Yeah, not just investments. In prime areas, actually, if you see, okay, let's use an example. So we have a owner of the unit. All right, he bought the unit in 10 years ago, 2013. It's a single story. At that point of time, the transacted price that he bought it for was 600,000. So I looked through the transactions at that point of time, right? He was actually paying above market. Average single stories were transacting at about 480 to 550,000. But he went in anyway, and he went in at 600,000.
10 years ago, you said?
Yeah, 10 years ago. So estimate now we know, right? what's the price of a single story in Taman Tun alcohol? The one that you are confident in selling in a week or 2 weeks. What's the average price? What you think that the house can fetch now in the market?
I think right now is 1.2.
Yep.
Yeah, I think this is
Baseline, right?
baseline. Lah. Yeah,
Yeah.
baseline. Lah.
So it's at the point of entry, you know you are buying something that is basically after there's no more additional new units, no more additional
Yeah.
land in Taman Tun, right?
Correct.
So it's a very safe kind of investment. But like what Yin Peng said, it's the yields are not good, but you know it's something safe and something solid. Yeah.
Yeah, to diversify your investment portfolio.
Correct. You won't go wrong.
Yeah.
And also in prime areas, I think a lot of investors go by the rule that I will not buy property unless I can imagine myself living there.
Yeah. So a lot of our buyers, right? You also have some.
Yes.
So one big trend we see is that people are also reserving the units. They see Taman Tun is a very desirable place to stay. They're not staying in Taman Tun now, but once they see a unit that they like, right, they kind of like chope the unit, be it for themselves in the future or for their children. They will just reserve it. In the meantime, they don't stay there. They know they can get a tenant easily. So it covers all areas. It's practically fail safe. Next time, if you want to exit, you need money, right? It's also easily resellable, liquidated.
Yeah, you can liquidate fast.
Yeah, you can monetize. You have an exit plan. That's for sure.
And I think coming back to chopping of the units, I mean, interesting. I mean, we've been talking a lot about single story, but right now I'm serving also a client very keen to actually chop his semi-D. He's comfortable now in his double story, but he knows at some point he's going to need a semi-D as the children grow up. So he said, okay, now let me chop my unit. I buy first, I hold. Definitely the price will go up. So I just buy first. I force myself to buckle down and pay off this thing as a form of savings. And eventually I will stay. Or if I don't stay, it's okay. He knows that he can sell it and the value will be there.
I think it's really wise because if you compare semi-Ds in Taman Tun, the nearest competitor, so there are not much competitors.
Yeah, the prices have gone up.
Yeah, I think
prices
the
for
neighbor like
semi-Ds have went up.
Pangsa,
Yeah.
Damansara Heights.
Yep. So let's move on to the fourth
Prediction.
fourth prediction. So we talk about communities. So the question that we brought up is, does the community in the neighborhood matter when you come to picking a location to buy a house?
Yeah, actually, I saw a lot of clients when they come to especially their first time exploring Taman Tun, they will keep questioning me that how come the old houses in Taman Tun fetching this kind of price? The area doesn't give him a feeling of atas place, but why the price is like
Also
so
old, right?
Yeah,
I hate that.
price is
Sometimes I get calls and then they see our signboard and then they say, hey, how much are this house? 1.2 million. Siao, crazy.
1.2 million for the
I know
mess.
it's 500,000. I just put on.
So that's why they are curious about what's so special about TTDI. And also, wouldn't it be better to buy a new one? Yeah, for other maybe like outskirt area, build a new one.
I think TTDI, besides buying just the house, just the physical form of the house, right? You are also coming into a community. Taman Tun, as we know, it's a very close-knit community. People here are very proactive, and also people here are very pandai complain. Okay, complain is strong. They dare to voice out over issues or their concerns, right? They dare to speak up. Like we have seen in also it's more about maintaining and preserving the legacy of the place. Like Yin Peng, we saw in the Bukit Kiara, right? It was a long battle.
A long battle.
Yeah. So it's
8 years.
Yeah, 8 years. So, and also you see a lot of, I rarely see this in where I stay my parents' house is in Kepong, and so far rarely, maybe 1 year once only you have a community event. That time is like a Tanglong festival. But in Taman Tun, you have chess events, you got, recently we participated in one, which is the health and wellness event, right?
Yeah, that's right. And the purpose of that, the point of that was when the organizers called me, they said that actually what we want to do is we want to encourage those who are retired to continue to have an active and happy lifestyle in TTDI. And they want to showcase what this area can offer to the retired community.
Yeah, and I also think that because most of the people staying in the TDI is like staying here for like easily like 30 years or above. And they really love this place so much. So everything they will like want to voice out in order to make the place become better and better.
Yep.
And sometimes not only complaining, but I also I look at the TDI, sometimes I'm feeling warm lah, because I saw that it's people are helping each other, and then they are compliment the KPKL is doing a good job.
Yeah. So it's not only complaints, how?
Not only complaints.
No, it's not. They do have a
Yeah.
lot of pride, right? I mean, they put like
Yeah.
nice photos of the place.
Yes, appreciation about the beautiful park,
And also
our lovely Bukit Kiara.
Of course. And I think that's what we will start to see as another trend for 2024 is that people will look for community. It's not just buying a house, it's buying a home. And the question that they will ask themselves is, can this location give me that feeling of home? Like what? Number one, like walking distance to amenities. Is there a lot of convenience? But not only that, people will also look for, are the neighbors good? What can the community do
Yep.
for the area?
Yeah, it's a holistic view. It's not just the house, it's the community, everything. It's the whole quality of life for themselves and the family, right? Yep.
And this comes down to actually design planning. I mean, interestingly enough, as I brought up in my video, is that there was a academic paper done on TTDI to see what can this area offer, and they call it new urbanism. So new urbanism is, it's not just like what I say, it's not just about the house, but it's about the home and what surrounding that area that can lend to that meaning of home. So they do measurements like, okay, are the pavements well
maintained?
Well maintained, yes.
True.
Proximity to shops. Is there good neighbors? Is it conducive for retirees? What kind of activities are there for retirees and children alike? And actually, TTDI, the conclusion was TTDI does offer this new urbanism, and it passed the test with flying colors. And I do that, and that's what I see. Like a lot of people who in the past would not have considered TTDI, but today, because of community, because of amenities and convenience, they feel that it's okay to pay that prime price tag.
Besides that, I also see one thing which I really, really like in Taman Tun. You see people of different races living together. All right. For instance, in like, again, coming back to my area, Kapong, you see like 90% they're all Chinese, right? Or in Terrace. But in Taman Tun, if you take a walk out in the park, you see different races, friends with each other, right? They are having good chats at the mamak shops.
Yeah. It's really happy to see that. It's like to see friends from multiracial and sitting down together to have a chit chat and then have fun.
But it was designed on purpose, right? I mean, we didn't know that, but then we met an owner who, Kajai owner, right? You remember?
Yeah,
and he's the first owner, right?
Yeah.
And he shared with us.
Lovely old man. He shared with us that when he bought the house during the launch in the year 1983, if I'm not mistaken, it was a long time ago. All right. The houses were for sale, but the developer had one criteria. The one that's selling the developer didn't want this house is Chinese, the neighbor is Chinese, then Malay. He wants a mix. So this house is Chinese, Malay, Indian, or other races. They want a good mix of people.
So they
on
actually
the same road.
deliberately monitor, right? This according to Uncle, right? What he told us.
Correct. So it's really nice, in a way. I see that the name Taman Tun Dr. Ismail, right? Actually, this whole Taman, it pays tribute to Tun Dr. Ismail Abdul Rahman, our Malaysian second Prime Minister. He envisioned a Malaysia of different ethnicities living harmoniously together. So Taman Tun also special. You see the road names like Sabah,
Yeah, true.
Haji Openg, Atina Apan. These are all actually really esteemed politicians. So besides Taman Tun, I rarely see similar. Do you see similar demographics in other areas, Kohao? You see in other KL areas, like multiracial, a lot of different races together. Do you see any?
Not really. Even though like Sabah City and Mont Kiara, more like a aspect lah, but they will like the community is like Korean, they will only going to the like Korea community.
Oh, that's
Japan
very
only
fun.
going to a Japan community.
Yeah, yep. I'm sure there is, but you see a lot of multicultural living in Tamantan. Yeah.
And I think that this area, as we go through for, I always say, it's just in the midst of gentrification. And as it continues to develop, I think demand will continue to be there.
Coming to our last prediction in our video, Yin Peng mentioned price stabilization. So, about this topic, so the video also mentioned there is a
BC and AC, right?
different
Yeah,
timeline
before
COVID,
MCO and
after
after
COVID.
MCO.
So before COVID, I think how you were also doing Tamantan as well, but not just Tamantan, but
yeah, like
other areas
Desa
like
Pasir.
Prime areas,
Montera,
prime.
Prime area.
City, this and that. So yeah, what is your opinion about in terms of price before COVID, after COVID?
Yeah, I
What a
see
difference.
the interesting trend is like before COVID, not many people are looking for rental properties because they want the feel of like safety to stay in the condo. However, after 3 years of lockdown, many growing families have come to exploring the rental properties. I have realized like 50% of the clients right now, they are want to move up from the condos to rental property because they feel like condo not enough space for them. They want to have more spaces, like
Yeah,
especially
it was horrible.
outdoor.
Yeah, horrible during MCR. I mean, I'm at the age where like my friends have not one, I got 2 or 3 kids, and they're stuck in a condo. You can't use the facilities,
All cooped up.
and then you're cooped up, so they have no choice. They blow up the pool and put it in the living room. And after that, I think like right after COVID, we just saw this huge pent up demand. Like people were just waiting to get out of the condo. They're like, Yin Peng, I just need to buy a landed house now. And that's when we saw
Yeah.
this spike.
2022, yes. 2022 was actually a really good year for the property market. Actually, the volume and the value of transactions that was recorded in 2022 was almost record high, even compared to year 2016.
So price went up after COVID?
During actually all this is pent up demand.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Agree.
it's just all pent up demand. Suddenly it was like everything was open up and everybody just came out like a mad rush for landed properties. Yeah. Especially in very established areas. That's what people are looking for.
Okay, so Yin Peng, what do you think? Like we started in Tamantan during MCO.
During
so
lockdown, that's when we started, where you couldn't go out, you couldn't transact,
cannot do viewing.
cannot do
viewing.
anything.
How we do
We
viewing?
didn't do viewing because you're not allowed to do viewing.
Sure
And
not.
then every time we didn't close anything. So
Ah.
every time we closed something was when they lifted it.
Yeah.
Then maybe we had 1 or 2. It was was challenging, interesting sort of year to start. But when we started that year, our first sale was a single story.
Yeah, our first sale was a single story
Was-
in Baki Tree.
Yeah, Aminuddin Bakir. Yeah, that's right. And at the time, prices, I guess it was sort of AC after COVID, sort of.
Yeah.
And that's when we started to see the prices still at 1.1, 1.12. And then, okay, so we were transacting. I think we transacted a few single stories during that time. It was around that price. Double story also, we sold Dato Sulaiman that time, only 1.6-ish, right?
Right.
I mean, today we are transacting 1.7 plus all the way up to 1.9. Actually, but that one we transacted during COVID, 1.6 plus. After COVID, we transacted for that type. We were transacting 1.78 to 1.
Yeah, close to 8. 1.8,
Well, 1.8.
plus.
Yeah. And so what we saw is that there's a huge price appreciation for single story, double story, and semi-D. So these were like, interestingly enough, the bungalows showed no appreciation and actually a slowdown. And I think like looking back on hindsight, like now that we're talking, I think that it's because you see the pent-up demand came from these young families, professionals who chose condos and mind you, they're staying in luxury condos,
Yep.
big condos, so they can afford it. They are young professionals, 35 to 45 age group. They're not ready for, I think, the bungalows yet. But single story, double story, or even a semi-Ds is just makes sense for their portfolio. And that's where the pent-up demand came from. And then we saw the price just sort of like shoot up, but it has since stabilized. And that's why I made the point, I think we agree collectively
Yeah.
that we're looking at price stabilization for 2024 because there was already that spike, right?
Correct.
But I think, Kenneth, before COVID, you were also transacting some townhouse houses. And do you notice any difference in terms of buyer behavior? Does BC have a buyer behavior? AC have a buyer behavior? Does this really matters and affect the price?
Definitely there's a difference before COVID and during COVID and what is happening now. Before COVID, choices were different. People were looking more towards price and location. But what we see now, right, because of supply issues and everything, material costs have went up. So renovation is one part that I think determines the buyer's decision on making a purchase. Because you really have to factor in renovation costs because materials price have significantly increased, I think. That's why we also see in Tamantun
Increased
house
by 100%?
easily 30%. Easily 30%.
And I think they foresee further increment this year.
Yeah,
Slight increment.
Slight increment as
In
things
reno.
stabilize, hopefully will taper off.
Yep.
And of course, this one leads to, even though we see renovated houses, even though they are priced higher than the normal basic houses, but there's a lot of inquiries and a lot of interest in these renovated houses because they know that they can actually factor in the renovation costs into the loan, all right? Or they save out on, they don't have to crack their heads to do the reno and handle all this renovation stuff. They save a lot on opportunity costs, basically. So that's the big difference I see before and after COVID. Yeah.
Yeah. I think right now people behavior is changed now, buying behavior. Because it's not about the price, because they don't want to go through that headache about the renovation. Because even like some houses which also transacted at a unbelievable price.
Unbelievable. I think we just didn't
especially
expect.
like single story. Yeah, and then we managed to sell it at 1.65.
That's a record.
That's a
that's
very nicely
record.
renovated one, right?
It's a nicely renovated.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think
And
people
2-story as
yes.
well.
Yeah.
2.5.
Yeah, and
Also another
2-story.
record.
2.5.
2.5-story. Is not extensively renovated, but nicely done up. 2.4. These are all record prices.
Yes. So right now I think people not only pricing lah. It's like they don't want to go through that headache.
Hassle. Yeah.
Hassle. And also for renovated houses, yes. Like let's say they can buy the house and then apply for the bank loan, and then they can like pay it or like by installment. And for the like rundown houses, when they bought it, not many people can afford that, like the high renovation cost. Even though they bought it like at a cheap price, 2.5 million, 2.6 million for the semi-D, but you still have to fork out like 1 million to renovate the house, to
That's
rebuild
true.
the house. So how many people can afford that? Like you have the 1 million cash to renovate it.
But lucky for Kohao had
Kohao has many who can afford.
many clients who can afford renovated
It's true. You
houses.
got a lot of high net worth clients, right?
Yin Peng, you got anything to add on?
No, I think in general, what I want to say is I expect to see, for me lah, my prediction is price stabilization. I think it's not realistic to expect any huge sort of jump in the next 12, at least 12, dare say 24 months, but maybe to be on a safe side, 12 months, the next 1 year. And which is why I keep telling my clients, like, it's a good time to buy. Is it a good time to sell? I think that Tamantun prices will not go up extensively. So if you think it's time to move your portfolio, I always tell my clients, if you think it's time, then just there's never a good time. So let this be the year if it makes sense for you in your life. You know, because I don't see that there will be any huge jump. Like maybe next year it will just improve, or maybe it will just appreciate marginally, right? I think marginal sort of
Correct.
appreciation.
Correct. it's more of a consolidation. But also you see buyers who see value in Taman Tun, right? They will still come back to look at houses here if the price is right and it suits their needs. Altogether, I think we as a team, we are very hopeful for this new year,
I think so.
2024.
I definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. I think that we will see. I think, I mean, just to sum up, really, I think number one, I think economy, we will see better days ahead. I think 2024, better days ahead. It does feel like that on the ground. And number two is that we do see there will be demand for more sophisticated local area experts in terms of agents. Buyers will become more and more demanding, sellers as well, because market transparency, and these people are sophisticated working professionals, and they do demand a certain level of service, and they do expect a certain level of knowledge from the agents. I don't think that we will see people rushing to invest in property. As mentioned, I think that there's just so many other investment instruments out there, but there will be a small pool of investors who still believe in the brick and mortar, but it would just be one of many types of investments that they'll make. Therefore, you won't see like any huge jump in prices because people are not rushing to buy. They'll take their time. And definitely people will look for communities. I think it's not just Taman Tun per se. I mean, even if you look across the board, just in general, when people buy something now, it's not just a roof over their head. People demand a lot more amenities, neighbors, and in general, community, right? What is the spirit of the place? I think that's what people want, a place to call home, and that you, not just to come home to your four walls, but your surrounding as well. And number five, I think there'll be price stabilization in the property market in general, especially for prime areas. We will not see it's a very strong word. Are you all standing by me when I say this?
Yes.
Yeah.
You say one, we don't.
Yeah. One is one, two is two.
Reluctantly, I was a bit nervous of saying such strong words, but I don't think we will see any huge price appreciation. So good time to buy. And in terms of selling, if you think it works for you and you think the timing is right, because there's never a good time to buy, there's never a good time to sell. It's always buying property and selling property is always a huge investment. You always need to ask, are you in that chapter where you need to make that decision? And if you do, I think going for it, you will not go wrong.
Yeah, go for it.
Just go for it, right? I think that's all the time that we have for today. Thank you to my colleagues, Kenneth, Gohao, Samuel. Thank you for watching and listening to us on this podcast. Make sure you follow us, click like and subscribe to all our socials on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Of course, head over to our website at yinhomes.my for all your real estate needs.
Bye.